Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sheep Get Sheared podcast, home of people, politics, and popular culture. I'm your host, Austin Creed. I want to welcome you into the show this morning. So, my friends, one of the things that this show is all about is finding out the lies and exposing the true realities of life. And one of the realities of life that I've found is we are lied to quite a bit. And a lot of times, the lies that are told to us are meant to protect others while harming another demographic. Now, when we talk about the certain ideas that are pushed in society, such as diversity, inclusion, equality, equity, stuff like that, we need to realize that those are code words. Those are Aesopian language code words. And you could say, hey, you know what, Austin, I think this is conspiracy theory level stuff. And if that's what you think, go ahead and see if I care, leave. But do so at your own risk, as far as I'm concerned. But getting back to Aesopian language, it was used by the democratic socialists in Russia back before the days of the Soviet Union. Oh yeah, you didn't know that democratic socialism is not unique to Bernie Sanders. Oh yeah, it existed back in Soviet Russia before it became Soviet Russia. The intellectuals of their time called themselves democratic socialists until the revolution happened and then they became communists. Go figure that out. But they didn't discuss things in the open like they do today. What they did was they discussed things in an Aesopian way. You ever read the Aesop fables as a kid? Or your mom or your dad or whoever read those Aesop fables to you, you know, the mouse and the lion, the crow and the bug, you know, the spider and the bird, you know, whatever, those kind of fables, right? Where the moral of the story is implied. It's inferred, but it's never directly stated. Well, my friends, that is the modern political structure we're living in. Because when you look at the modern political landscape, a lot of people use these code words to say one thing, but really they mean something else. If you know, you know, and if you don't know, you're in the dark. And that is what I'm worried about. And that is why I want to talk about one of these code words today, and that is equality. Now, equality does not exist fully. It is a code word for bringing certain demographics up and bringing other demographics down so that everybody is on an equally medium level. Instead of trying to bring the low bar up, they take the high bar down. An example of this in society is, I hate to say this, actually no I don't, I love talking about the truth, is men being brought down while women are being propped up. Now, there are some women who don't require this, just as there are some men who require help. Those are the outliers. They are not the norm. They are not the average. They are the exception. So, my friends, I want to ask you something. Why do you think that men are held to a higher standard in society? You ever notice in family court, in the court of public opinion, that for some reason men are expected to take an L, whereas we need to let the woman off the hook when she messes up? Let me give you an example, okay? The example I discuss would be something along the lines of, let's see, there's an older man, he's in his 40s, right? And he wants to date a younger woman who's 18. Totally legal, right? But suddenly, oh no, it's immoral, you can't do that. But then if we switch it and it's an 18-year-old guy who's dating a 40-year-old woman, suddenly, oh, but they're in love, Austin. You can't say nothing about that. They in love. Why you hating? See that? I like to play a game called Reverse. It's like where you put an Uno reverse card on a situation, and then suddenly, is it more or less okay? That is a perfect example of why equality is bogus. It's bullshit in plain English. It's garbage. It doesn't work. Let me ask you something else. Why are women not eligible for the draft officially? I know there are theories going around that there's an executive order. I'm not sure that's exactly true. I hope it is, because that's a good step forward towards actual equality, not just perceived equality, in my opinion. But here's what I don't get. I believe that women are equally human. So I'm not denying women's humanity whatsoever. But what I'm saying is you can't have equality without equal quality, which means that we have equal responsibilities, equal expectations. But yeah, for some reason, that's where the cutoff happens. For some reason, women are seen as, oh, they're more innocent than men, they're weaker than men. That's not true. In the physical department, maybe, but everywhere else, oh, hell no. We all know that to be false. 100% false. Women are masters of manipulation, versus men are very inept in that department unless they've been taught, usually by a woman, directly or indirectly. My friends, this idea of women being naive and whatnot is totally false. It is a total fabrication of reality, but it then leads to men having a, quote, higher standard for the same rights in society, which is the opposite of what equality means. That's why I think equality is stupid, because it doesn't actually work. People don't want actual equality, they want perceived equality. They want to be in the club, but not have to pay the dues to be in the club, if you get what I'm saying. And you might say, well, Austin, that's mean. You're being unsympathetic. Well, I don't need to be sympathetic. I need to be realistic. And you know what? I'm okay with being cold. I'm okay with, if that's what you want to describe me as, go right ahead. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, you know I'm right. If you're getting offended just because you know that I'm right with what I'm talking about. And I wish I could sit here and tell you that this isn't the case, but unfortunately, it is. I wish I could sit here and tell you that everything works as intended and everybody's living better now, but the problem is that's not true. Why do you think we need this notion of equality if people were equally contributing to everything in society? Unfortunately, that's just not the case. It's just not true. Because if it was, then there'd be no issue. So, my friends, what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen equality in your own life being weaponized against you? They try to bring you, in the name of equality, they bring you down, they ostracize you, they throw you in the trash to make room for someone else who's less qualified than you in the name of equality. The white males need not apply type of philosophy that's very prevalent today in almost every sector available. My friends, where true equality means everybody has equal treatment, equal access. But the problem is that doesn't play out that way. Because some people are just on the bottom of society from a financial standpoint, and thus they don't have the equal networking ability, the equal access, because that's just not the way the world works. Could you argue that that's immoral? Sure, if you want to argue that way, you can. But that doesn't change the objective reality that we find ourselves in. My friends, how would you define equality? I think my definition is very fitting. It means equal quality. The problem is, too many people, they don't see equality. They see this fake version of equality that's been pushed forward. It goes back to it being a code word, which means it means one thing to the people who know and another to the general population, which is in the dark. And you can go across racial lines, you can go across gender lines, and just see how certain people are being penalized versus other people are being rewarded. And that is not what equality is supposed to be. That is exactly the opposite. That's punishing people for something they have no say in and rewarding people for other people's bad choices. Do I think there's genuine racism in the world? Yes. Do I think that there's genuine discrimination? Yes. Do I think that everything that's always described as either one of those two things is discrimination or racism? No. Do I think there's systemic racism? No. I don't. In fact, if it does exist, it exists against white people, not against minorities. All I have to do is look at affirmative action. But I don't want to get off the track here. I feel like I'm losing the forest for the trees here. The general philosophy is, why are men held to a higher standard? If you can't provide for your kids, why do you go to prison? if you don't, quote, pull out or you don't wear protection and then you get the girl pregnant, why is it your fault? Why is it not equally her fault when she knew she was ovulating, but she decided to have sex with you like that anyways? Again, there is not equal accountability across the board. You as a man are held to a higher standard. Why is that? Where's the equality there? Where's the equality when it comes to women being rewarded in society for doing the bare minimum, whereas men were expected to pitch a shutout? And if we can't do it, well, then you're just a bad man. You're not a real man. Oh, gosh, you have no idea what contempt I have for that phrase, real men. What is a real man? First of all, I heard recently there was a book out, I don't know by who, but there was a book by a woman who was talking about toxic masculinity. That's like someone writing a book about cancer who's never been through cancer. Like surviving cancer, but you've never had cancer. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? Who would read that? I don't understand that. No, I'm not saying that she can't understand it from a clinical perspective. Of course she can. Anybody can. But she hasn't lived it. Masculinity has been under attack for years. Years. Because apparently we as men need to be all things to all people all the time. And if we're not, then we're no good. Versus a woman could be on drugs, have mental health problems, but she can still have custody of her kids and people feel sorry for her and she's a good mom and she's trying. Versus if you're a dad and you're not there and you're not doing this, that, and the other thing, well then guess what? You're a deadbeat. You're no good. You're going to jail. Just the rules in society are stacked against men and are in favor of women. For example, let me put it to you like this. Let's say that a man is drunk, right? And the woman is not drunk and they hook up. Does she take advantage of him? What do you think? Let's flip it. Let's say the woman's not drunk, but the man is. Did he take advantage of her? You see? You see that? See the hypocrisy in that? I thought we were supposed to be equals. What happened? What about when paying for dates? Now, I'm a traditional guy. I pay for if I take a woman on a date, which rarely happens anymore, but if I do, I pay for everything. Why? Because that's what I believe in. But for some reason, we want to believe in equality, and yet when a woman is expected to pay with her own money that she earned and pay her way, that's no good. You're not a real man. Real men pay for everything. Wait a minute. What about equality? What happened? Again, people don't want equality. They want equal access to the rewards, but not equal responsibility for what those rights require. That's the problem. People want to cherry pick, not be consistent. And that is why men are usually held to a higher standard, because we had the double dip. We had what's hers is hers and what yours is too, versus the true equality that people preach from the textbooks. My friends, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think I'm fair, foul, fabricating it? What do you think? I want to hear what you have to say, because I know everybody encounters this differently. So my friends, if you want to hit me up in the DMs on X at Sheep Get Sheared, you're welcome to do so. Comment on any of the thousands of posts that I have made. But my friends, I want to hear what you have to say, because I know there are a lot of stories to be told on this issue. When you start to see what it is we're talking about on the show today, you'll start to see things from a different lens, a more realistic lens. And I hope that that's what you learned today. I hope I could help you build that lens for yourself. My friends, God bless you. God bless your families. God bless America. I'm out of here. Enjoy your day. Christmas is right around the corner. Let's enjoy it. I'm out. Peace.